Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. We're at the Broadway Theater, which is the home to the hit musical The Great Gatsby. And I'm standing here with the show's Tony Award-winning costume designer, Linda Cho, who's going to walk us through some of the costume rooms and the costumes right before the matinee.
This is the wardrobe room. This is where the dreams begin.
The costumes in this show are stunning. Was this one of the biggest shows you've ever worked on?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do a lot of big shows, but this is definitely one of the bigger ones.
Do you have any idea how many costumes you designed for The Great Gatsby?
You know, I double-checked right before this. There's 250 on stage every night.
250 from the 1920s. This is incredible. Like sitting behind you, the fabrics you used in this show is amazing. The beading work, the stone work. How did you start working on this show? Did you create the main characters first? Like, how did you create the costume look for this show?
Always start with the main characters so that you know how to balance the rest of the ensemble within that matrix. And then, you know, I try to actually design big groups at once because you have to think holistically. For sure, you have to think of the individual, but you have to think about who's on stage at any given time and what their relationships are. And especially with color, like you have to pick colors, fabrics for an entire scene all at once because that's what you see. It's not just one costume. You see like 50 or whatever the case may be.
Who were the most challenging for you?
Okay, so menswear hasn't really changed dramatically in the last 20th century. Like it's the size of the lapel has changed, the width of the cuff, you know, so the vocabulary is very subtle, and I've done over 200 shows now, so I kind of can do menswear without a ton of research. But so the women's is a little more outside of the box, which requires a little more creativity, a little more research. But they're both challenging, and you know, making sure that also when you think about bodies from the past and bodies certainly on the Broadway stage, you know, it's a different presence, it's a different musculature. So like clothes that might have looked great on a 1920s body may not look the same on a contemporary body. So some of those things you have to consider and also balance when you're looking at period research.
This is such a beautiful time period, the 20s. Was that a period that you loved?
I mean, every period is extraordinary, but what's so great about the 20s, and in particular wealthy 20s of this era of this play, is, you know, it is so lush and you can just put your dream on stage. And this is certainly Gatsby's dream. He was creating a dream for himself and the world around him. So it's 20s with my imagination and Gatsby's imagination.
I want to talk to you about wear and tear because the clothes are so beautiful. You know, in the 20s, people wore these to parties and they took them off at home and they maybe put them on again, 4 weeks later. People dance in these costumes 8 times a week. The wear and tear. Is there a different way you design clothes for the stage, specifically in Gatsby? Like, is there a whole underbody that's different in the costume?
Well, you certainly have to consider, first of all, movement. Yeah. So they're doing movement. It's not just the Charleston with legs and knees. It's full kicks. It's full partnering where people are spun upside down. So that is the first consideration, is the range of movement. And then with that, when you think about somebody being lifted, that's a lot of wear and tear on the waist. And so we have to consider the materials that are being used. But also there's a huge team of people who just come and repair every single night. This is the ladies' ensemble change room, dressing room, and it's right before a show, so everything is set up ready for the show. That's why everything is sort of hung backwards, unzipped, ready to just jump into a body.
So this is all preset at the end of last night's show, or because there's a whole system that goes through this. I mean, there's things here last minute stuff, I guess, if something has to be repaired or something,
Yep.
right?
Yep, and you can see that the shoes are exactly where they need to be. The jewelry is all set up, so you can just go boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's all like an orchestrated dance, basically, with the dressers.
I had talked to Paul about the sets and the projections, and you realize how many shops are involved and how many people it takes to actually bring your creations to life. So how many houses built the clothes for this show?
There's there's about 10 different shops in New York City. And when you think about each of those shops employ probably another 50
Yeah.
people as well, and everyone's got hands on it at different times. It's a whole industry that
But it takes an army to put a show on, from the original costume design to the fruition of getting it on stage each night, right?
Yeah, I always say I just do a part of what you see on stage. It's really just a fraction. And then it's an entire team, army of people who are that are experts in their various disciplines. Like, I cannot do the things that other departments do. They are the best, and that's why it's Broadway. This is the men's ensemble with some of the ladies' headdresses up here as well. And again, we're laid out and ready for an actual show, so you can see, that shirt is inside out, ready to put on, and those shoes.
So it's that intricate of, like, someone just steps right into that, puts the shoes on, and they go.
Yes, it's all choreographed to the second.
And we're literally like, we're a little like 40 minutes away from the matinee here.
Yes. There's actors coming in and out.
But I love this. So all the chaos is getting ready to begin, but it's organized chaos, right?
Absolutely.
Have you ever stayed backstage during the show watching how it all works?
No, I'm terrified.
She's
and
terrified.
I'd probably be in the way. So.
Well, I thank you for doing all of this right before a matinee.
Of course.
Congratulations on all the success you've received with this show and everything else that you do, because you make magic.